Welcome to Strength Foundation.
All right, if you're gearing up for that NSCA exam, you know Chapter 9 as well, it's a big one. It's all about that super critical first meeting with a new client. So today, we're going to break it all down, step by step, to make sure you've got these concepts totally nailed for test A. So, picture this, right? Your new client walks to the door, they're super excited, ready to go. But wait, before you even think about picking up a dumbbell, there is one question that trumps everything else. Is this person actually safe to train? And let me tell you, getting this right, it isn't just important, it's your #1 absolute first priority. Our first section here is all about the foundation of safety. I mean, you really got to think of this as your first, most fundamental responsibility as a personal trainer. Seriously, every single program you write, every session you run, it all hinges on getting this part right from the get-go. You know, the NSCA is super clear about what your role is here. It all kicks off with a really thorough screening. And let's be absolutely crystal clear about something. You are not a doctor. Your job isn't to diagnose anything. It's more like being a detective, right? You're gathering clues, looking for potential red flags, and knowing exactly when to hit the pause button and say, hey, this looks like something you should probably run by your doctor. That line right there, that's your scope of practice.
And this quote from the textbook, it really just nails it. The whole point, the entire reason we do this, is to screen for risk factors. We're on the lookout for those hidden signs of, cardiovascular, pulmonary, or metabolic issues, all so that the program you end up designing is first and foremost safe.
Okay, so understanding why we do this is one thing, but you know the exam is going to hammer you on the how. So let's get into the nitty-gritty, the practical steps. In this next part, we're going to cover the actual consultation process and all that crucial paperwork you need to start building that client file. So the NSCA lays it all out for us in this clear 7-step playbook. Think of it as a roadmap, really. It takes you all the way from that first hello in the interview right up to the point where you get the official green light to start training. And trust me, following this system, it's your best bet to make sure you don't miss a single critical detail. And the very first tool in your toolbox is going to be the PAR-Q+. That's the Physical Activity Readiness Questionnaire. This thing is your first line of defense. Seriously. And it's so simple. If your client answers yes to any of the questions on this form, bam, that's your signal. They've got to go get clearance from their doctor before you can move forward an inch. All right, next up we have the informed consent form. Now look, it's easy to think of this as just a legal waiver, to cover your butt. But it's so much more than that. It's a really powerful way to communicate. It makes sure your client is completely in the loop on the potential risks and, of course, the benefits of exercise. And it makes it clear that they have a role and responsibility in all this too. Okay, listen up, because if there is one section in this entire chapter that is guaranteed to show up on your exam, this is it. You have got to be fluent in decoding cardiovascular disease risk factors. We'll just call it CVD. This is where you go from being a paper pusher to actually doing a real, meaningful risk assessment. And here's a super important point, especially for the test, so don't let this trip you up. A positive risk factor, that's actually a bad thing. It adds a point to their risk score. But a negative risk factor, well, that's a good thing. It's protective, and it actually lets you subtract a point from their total. Super easy to get those mixed up, so lock that in. All right, exam alert, everybody. I mean it. Take a screenshot, get out a flashcard. I don't care what you do, but you have to memorize this table. No way around it. You've got to know all 8 of these positive risk factors stone cold. I'm talking age cutoffs, specific blood pressure numbers, fasting glucose levels, the whole deal. And of course, that one special negative risk factor, which is high HDL cholesterol. Okay, let's put this into practice with a case study right from the book. So, meet Ralph. First up, his blood pressure is over that 130/80 threshold. Okay, that's 1 point. His total cholesterol, over 200. That's point number 2. He's also inactive, point number 3. And his BMI is 30, which hits that obesity mark. That's 4. So, when you add it all up, Ralph's got a score of 4 positive risk factors. Okay, now counting risk factors is one thing, but if a client mentions any of these major signs or symptoms you see here, forget everything else. This is an immediate, non-negotiable, stop everything red flag. Any one of these means an immediate referral to a doctor. No questions asked, period.
All right, so you've done your homework. You've got the PAR-Q+ filled out, you've tallied up the risk factors, and you've checked for any of those major symptoms. Now what? Well, now comes the crucial part. Making the right call. This next section is all about how you take all that data and turn it into a clear decision about medical clearance.
And this really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you decide who actually needs a doctor's note? The good news is, you don't have to guess. The American College of Sports Medicine, you'll see it as ACSM, has created this awesome, systematic algorithm to literally walk you through the decision.
You just start at the top. First question, does the client exercise regularly? Let's follow the no path. Okay, next box, do they have a known disease? If the answer there is also no and they have no symptoms, then boom, the chart tells you medical clearance is not necessary. You just follow the flowchart for every client and it will give you the right answer every single time. Now what happens if that algorithm points you to the box that says medical clearance recommended? Well, this is what you do next. You don't just shrug and tell your client, you should go see a doctor. No, you act like a professional. You use a tool like this physician referral form. This creates a really clear, professional line of communication. It shows the doctor exactly what you've found and what kind of program you're hoping to start.
Mastering this whole screening process, it's so much more than just memorizing a bunch of facts for an exam. It's really the foundation of being a responsible, effective professional trainer. When you get this part right, you've earned the right to move on and design an amazing program. So keep studying, you've totally got this.